we have Jay Schrader of RUD to talk core products. As we've been doing all day, please post your questions in the Q&A module, and Jay will answer them after his presentation. So right now, I'd like to turn it over to Jay and RUD.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the RUD chain presentation. My name is Jay Schrader. I am a regional sales manager for the Caldwell Group. Some of you may ask, why is the Caldwell Group presenting for the RUD chain? Well, back in May of 2018, RUD USA and the Caldwell Group joined forces, and now the Caldwell Group is responsible for the sales, marketing, and warehousing of all RUD lifting products in the US and Canada. All RUD lifting points are still made in Germany. The Caldwell Group warehouses products in Rockford, Illinois, and we have a dedicated staff to ensure timely delivery of the RUD products. I will highlight several of our most popular products and give you a quick overview about them. Before we get into the products, please know that RUD has integrated several features to ensure safety. We have patented wear marks on our rings now. You'll see dimples on the inside of the rings. These represent a 10% reduction material. And when you notice your ring without these dimples, it is time to replace the ring as it is worn. The second thing is the RFID on all bolt-on products. The RFID allows for quick reference during the inspection process. The third is how we base our working load limits. We base them on the worst case scenario. The stamped or forged working load limit are based on the worst case lift, so there's no need to ever derate for a side pull or similar lifts. And then lastly, our color. Our products do change colors when subjected to high external heat sources such as torches, heat treat ovens, kilns, etc. This is not from any kind of spontaneous heat that we'd have from overloading the product. So let's begin. Many times as we go into an end user, we kind of walk into the unknown. We see many homemade lifting devices or even modified devices. These are huge safety concerns, and it is one of the leading factors when we consider the design of new lifting points. RUD breaks down our lifting points in two categories, one for bolting and one for weld-on. So the first portion of the presentation is going to be on the bolt-on products, and then we'll work into the weld-on products at the end. The first product we'll talk about is our ACP, Tornado. This is our newest lifting point. We developed this to compete with the other center pull hoist rings. However, RUD feels that with a true center pull hoist ring, that when using in a side pull option, the hoist ring can get bound up, and when it gets unbound, it causes a shock load on the hoist ring and all rigging. So RUD has implemented a spring mechanism to keep the hoist ring from getting into that over center position. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner on the picture, you see a little spring on there. That will keep the bail from ever getting truly over the center of that bolt. So that's what we talk about when we talk about our unique RUD spring mechanism. The Tornado has a comprehensive range of 1.35 tons up to 8 metric tons, inch and metric sizes available, up to 30% higher working load limits due to the use of our patented ice bolt. So the ice bolt is available in metric sizes up to M30. It's something that we have designed and developed with some engineering staffs in Germany, and it has allowed us to take advantage of higher working load limits due to wear and the ductility of the bolts. So again, this is our ACP Tornado. It does meet all ASME B30.26 standards. So that is a very important step for RUD, as before we only manufactured to the EN and DIN standards in Europe, and now we're starting to manufacture to the American, to the ASME standards. The next product we'll talk about is the VLBG Plus and the VLBG. Again, you'll see this, here's a true side, offset side, this off to the side load ring. We have metric and inch sizes available, M8 through M48 and 3/8 through 2 inches. A working load range of 0.63 tons up to 20 tons. The bolt is captive, but we can change it out. If you see the picture of the bolt on the left, you'll see a groove cut in there. We actually put a ring, a little keeper ring in there, and when you slide it down in the body, it snaps in and it's held captive. So if you damage your bolt during the lift process or as you're storing it, then we can go ahead and change that bolt out. We do as well offer longer bolts that we can use For through-hole applications, we'll put a washer and a nut, or even a lock washer or a lock nut on the backside, and take advantage of holes that are already there. Maybe not a tapped hole, but we can take advantage of a through hole. The next products we'll talk about is our VWBG-V and the VWBG. As you'll see, these here are basically a true center pole hoist ring. The difference of the two on the side here, the VWBG, we machine the bolt as one unit, and the VWBG-V, that's actually a purchase bolt that we put in there. You can see on the side the blue RFID chips in there, so we can take advantage of, again, for the inspection process. And also with the RFID, we can use anybody's readers to read these chips. This actually product line here has the highest working load limit for all of our bolt-on products. So we can, with specials, we can get well into the 50, 75, 100-ton models. Standard on the shelf, we can get up to 50 tons. So basically from 0.3 tons all the way up to 50 tons, standard off-the-shelf products. Again, ball bearing construction. The picture at the bottom right, you'll see the wear marks on the area that doesn't have the rust area on there. But again, it will show right away if it needs to be replaced. One of the features that I wanted to show is how we calculate our working load limit. So worst case scenario for the VWBG would be the bottom left-hand side. The actual captive ring on the top of the load ring has not swiveled yet, and so you'd be pulling against that ring. So that would be the worst case scenario. And as we slide over, we get to the best case scenario. Many times the working load limit is 2 times what is stamped on the body of the product, due to the fact that we can take advantage of a true good lifting point at that point in time. So we encourage everyone to use their safety and user instructions to figure out what working load limit they need to be using at the time. Again, I told you we can get up to 75, 100-ton models. Right here's a special one that we built. This one here had a M100 thread, and it was 75 tons. So we do take advantage of a shackle at this point in time for the ring. But yes, we can do this inch and metric. So please let us know if you have a heavy lift application we can take advantage of. The next group of products that we'll talk about quickly here is our PowerPoint products. And the advantage of the PowerPoint products is they're very, very versatile. And so what we have here is, you'll see on the right-hand side, we have one with a hook, one with a bail, and one with a chain. We start out with the basic base. You tell us the size of the threaded hole, we go ahead and match that up, and then we can put a hook on it, a bail on it, or actually go directly to chain. And you ask, well, why would you want to put a hook on there? Well, in the picture there where they're lifting that die, you'll see that there is a standard wire rope sling. You would have to use a shackle if you had a standard hoist ring. So without using a shackle, we can actually take advantage of the hook that's there. In sizes bigger than 4mm hook, so bigger than that 0.63 tons, our hooks that we use actually have a forged latch on it, so it's not the stamped latch that you see on a lot of other hooks. So it's a very robust hook that we put on there. Again, we can, all different sizes, inch and metric. We can also do fine thread. We can do British threads. So please let us know if you have something that's a little bit, maybe odd. We might be able to take advantage of it for you here. We also have done some very specialized products here. And when I say specialized, we had an application in the automotive industry where they needed to have a self-locking hook on there with a couple pieces of chain, just the way that the lift was done. So we can do specials. So please let us know, for whatever the reason may be, we might be able to give you a hand here. The product that made RUD famous is the VRS Starpoint. And I think when people think of RUD, they think of the Starpoint. And we are the original swivel eye bolt manufacturer. There's a lot of them now in the market, but we are the original. Basically, this is how RUD got started in the United States. RUD discovered a need when walking in the shops that had bent or broken eye bolts. RUD developed an eye bolt that would have a separate bolt that could swivel without backing out when you put under load. Many times using an eye bolt, when you go to make a lift, the orientation is not correct on all the eye bolts, and some will actually back out, cause damage, or ultimately eye bolt failure. So the VRS Starpoint, we pin the bolt in, and it cannot be removed. So then you take our patented key that you see hanging off to the side, and you would insert into the hex head of that bolt, and you will screw down. It becomes one unit at this time, so you'll screw it down tight. You take the key back out of there. If you're making a one-time lift, hand tight is fine. If we're going to be making multiple lifts with that same lifting point and that piece that you're trying to lift, then we do recommend you go into our safety instructions and pulling up the torque value for that. We have a very wide range. We now go up to M64, and we still go to 2-inch on the inch size. So we have a very wide range for this product. We can get with longer bolts. So there's many options that we can do. The last couple bolt-on products we'll talk about, I'll go through rather quickly here, just for the sake of time. But we do manufacture many different kind of bolt-on lifting points. So if you have holes, or you're designing a piece of equipment or machinery, please let us know, and we can help you out with any kind of lifting point that you may need. We really do specialize in some high loads and things like that. Again, bolt-on excavator hooks. You can see on the product on the right-hand picture there, again, the wear marks, and these can be lifted or actually lashed down from as well. And then our last one we'll talk about here is our BABA. This is modeled after a weld-on product we'll talk about shortly. We found a great need for just kind of a basic lifting point that's bolt-on for machinery moving. So this was our solution to it. Got a very nice wide range for this as well. So that's what we do. The second part now, we'll discuss a few of our weld-on products. Please keep in mind these can also be used for lashing. So, and for lashing, we'll double the working load limit, which at that point in time becomes a lashing limit. The first one we'll talk about, it looks very familiar to the one we talked about in the bolt-on selection. This is our WPP series, our PowerPoint series for welding. We can offer it with a ball bearing, so to swivel, or a standard fixed position. Now, this is, again, very handy in the construction industry, things like that, where maybe before they had a flame cut hole, they were using a shackle. Now we can weld this to the side of it and take advantage of a hook versus having to use a shackle, and maybe save them time and some safety. Our most basic lifting point for weld-on is our ABA. Very wide range of products, but it's just a very good stationary lifting point. You can see definitely the wear marks on the ring. The little dimples on the top can be used for angles. So if you're trying to figure out your angle, we can use those for the angles as a guide. So we do have several safety features involved here. With any of our weld-on products, please remember all welding instructions can be found online, or they can be found in our user instructions. So please don't hesitate to ask. If you see something you don't quite understand, please let us know. But we do ask that you have a competent welder weld all these products on before you make your lift. So we do have a very comprehensive range, 0.8 tons up to 31.5 tons on the ABA. Again, very, very basic lifting point, but it's a very, very good, and it's a very good seller for us as well. The next products are the VRBS Fix and the VRBK Fix. The VRBS is the top one. It's meant for flat, clean surfaces. We have a nice radius to edge along the bottom, so you can get a good fillet weld around there. The VRBK is meant more for putting on corners. So now we can put it on a corner like you see in the picture there and take advantage of that because we weren't able to use maybe the side panels to weld to. So it gives you another option. Well, again, very comprehensive range, 4 tons up to 50 tons. We can even do up to 100 tons, just depending on what the application is. And you ask, well, why do we call it the fixed? The weld blocks on the sides, if you look at the bottom picture down there to the left, those are considered weld blocks. The second picture in shows a brass ring or a spring, and it retains the weld block in position. So when you're welding, you don't have to worry about setting up any kind of dimension across there to make sure that you have the right spacing. So it's automatically done for you. We do that again with the VRBK as well. So that way we can take advantage of an actually quick welding and not have to sit there and fumble around with the blocks. The VRBS is very similar, except that we don't have the fixed blocks. Now we have to worry a little bit more about setting up the spacing, and it sits a little bit lower to the product. So it's another option we have, a very good product, and again, we can get up to 50 tons of these as well. The VLBS and the VLBSU, these here are great. These are very, very compact. We go 16 tons on these. They have a spring that we'll show you in this next one here. If you look in the second picture, you'll see a clamping spring. So that weld block is automatically attached to this D-ring. There's no need to try to set it up in the middle. It's already centered. You're ready to go. Hands, basically, you can use both hands to weld. You don't have to hold the ring because that spring will retain the position of that D-ring, so we can put it in an upright position and start welding down along both sides. Again, very big range, 1.5 ton to 16 tons. You get a full pivot of 180 degrees and 100% working load at 90 degrees in the load ring plane. So a lot of capabilities here with this lifting point. Along with the VLBS, we have a VLBS-P, which is for pipes. So if you have a curved radius surface, we can use the VLBS for that as well. And we also offer the UT model, which is for ultra low temperatures. So if you have a need down to minus 45 degrees Celsius, we can take advantage of this and use this lifting point. Again, similar to the bolt-on, we have the weld-on excavator hooks. Many different uses for this. We can use it on machinery. We can use it on lifting beams. You know, a lot of uses for this. So again, you know, we have some products available. So please let us know how we can help you out. I know this was a very quick overview of the RUD products, and we did not get a chance to touch on, you know, some of the other products that we offer, but I wanted to just kind of give you a highlight of what RUD offers and what the Caldwell Group can do to help you out. And, you know, if there's anything we can help you out with, please let us know. Any questions, Justin?
Yeah, we actually had 2 questions come in. The first one, can the forged latches on the sling hooks be backloaded?
No, we would never recommend to backload the hook there.
Short and sweet. What are the load test requirements for weld-on lift points and hooks?
So all of our stuff is done to 125% load testing at our facility. So we do batch testing on them.
Perfect. And that is the end of the questions. Do you have any closing remarks?
No, just appreciate everything that AWRF has done this last couple of days, and look forward to seeing everyone soon.
All right. Thanks, Jay. And that concludes our virtual trade show. On behalf of the board and all the folks at Jaguar Management, we'd like to thank all of our exhibitors and participants for joining us. And until we see each other again, stay safe and healthy, and wherever you are, enjoy the rest of your day.